Hello, Legacy enjoyers. Maxtortion here with a fun one. We've got Blue-Black Froginator Oculus. So I'm going to be playing this in the Legacy Challenge tonight, December 14th, 2024, 2 days before the ban announcement that WotC will potentially ban something in Legacy. We don't know. Get to that in a minute. But anyway, this is kind of a standard Froginator shell. You've got your Entombs, Reanimates, Frogs. I'm playing 3 Animate Dead, and 0 Metamorphosis Fanatic, this guy, because I am fitting a different card into the list, and that's Abhorrent Oculus. This card's kind of been taking over Modern by force. I've tried it a little bit in the Curie Dreadnought list that Brian Koval used to top 8 North America Eternal Weekend, which is pretty sweet. But the card itself is a force to be reckoned with. And in that deck, you're manifesting Dread and kind of putting a face down Phyrexian Dreadnought into play and paying 1 mana to flip it. But in this deck, what I'm doing, in addition to generating value, is putting things like Troll of Khazad-dûm or Atraxa Archon of Cruelty into the yard with additional surveils. So, especially even post-board, you become a little bit less reliant on Entomb. And so that's the thought with the Abhorrent Oculus. It adds a little bit of oomph to the deck, makes the fair plan a little bit stronger. Now, the reason why I'm not playing it with Metamorphosis Fanatic is that they're both kind of clunky cards, and I don't want to make the deck too clunky. Kind of to that end, I'm only playing 2 days because these things cost 3, and so the curve is getting higher. I'm actually rounding out with a 3rd Thoughtseize because I think that Thoughtseize is better than Daze against a lot of the Stompy decks that are playing Vexing Bubble. So I do like Thoughtseize there quite a bit. Playing 2 Fatal Pushes in the main deck, 1 Brazen Borrower, 1 Atraxa, 1 Archon. I'm not playing Valgavoth because I can't really fit it. I don't know what to cut for it, since I'm playing the Oculi. And then I'm playing 17 lands with 2 Undercity Sewers, 3 Wastelands. The Sewers build a graveyard a little faster so we can build Oculus value. Over in the sideboard, I've got 4 Consigned Memories with 0 Null Rods, and the reason I'm doing that is because I'm playing 2 Ghost Vacuum, although I'm not bringing in Ghost Vacuum and Null Rod in the same matchup. What am I talking about? Let's fix that right now. Null Rod in here over Consign number 4. Got a Brazen Borrower in addition to the one in the main. I've got a Force Negation. 3 more removal spells, the Fatal Pushes and to go for the throat. 4 creatures to round out the kind of fair pivot of 2 Bowmasters, 2 Baraghoists, and then our graveyard / blue-black tempo hate of Ghost Vacuum. So that's the deck. We'll see how we do tonight in this here Legacy Challenge. I will see you all for round 1. Okay, we're against Fuya, who has most recently been seen on Oops All Spells, or as the Japanese call it, Spy. So we'll see if this Force of Will Thoughtseize Wasteland hand is enough. Hopefully. Maybe there's something else also, but nope. Oops All Spells indeed. Are we leading off with a Thoughtseize? No, going with the Dark Rit. Okay. Let's see. See what we got. Is it a Balustrade Spy? I mean, we need another mana source for that, like a Spirit Guide or a Petal. Something along those lines. Undercity Informer. Okay, so I'm going to force that. I'm going to pitch Atraxa. And hopefully that's sufficient. Nope, Pact to Negation. So I am probably dead. Because otherwise, my opponent's going to win. Yep, here we go. Chrome Mox. Pitching Reanimate. Okay, so they had another way to bring this thing back. They're going to target themselves. I'm going to look at the list. So with Chrome Mox, I think my understanding is that I should expect a pivot to Charbelcher. So what they have here is they have 1 Narcomoeba that's going to trigger a Cabal Therapy Chain. I'll let it play out once. But the Cabal Therapies are going to bring back the, Poxwalkers. Stuff like that. So the Cabal Therapy targets me, and I'm just going to concede on the stack here. I don't want to reveal information. But the Poxwalkers are going to trigger into play. They Therapy again. And at that point, they'll be able to go for a Dread Return on their Thassa's Oracle and win the game. So I am conceding. Let's sideboard against the Spy. So I want Ghost Vacuum. I want a Force of Negation. I want Consigned to Memory because it stops the trigger. I believe I want Null Rod because it stops the Belcher pivot. And then I want Brazen Borrower because it's also pretty good against the Belcher pivot. I can cut some of the fairer stuff that doesn't really matter. I can trim that. I can trim fatal pushes that aren't going to matter. I can also probably cut a couple trolls. Yeah, that seems about right. Let's see how this looks for game 2. Again, I am expecting a Belcher pivot, which is why I have the consigns, partially why I have the Null Rod, I have the Force Negation, and the Ghost Vacuums are obviously for the main plan. I don't think the main plan is going to be cut for what it's worth, but I do think that a Belcher pivot is on the table here. Actually, looking at their sideboard, they are playing Dothy Voidwalkers. So part of me actually wants to put 2 fatal pushes back in over maybe the last 2 trolls. Or over the Animate Deads. I'll do that. Okay. Now let's go to game 2. In that game 1, we could really see why the die roll is so important in these games when Legacy is as fast as it is now, because on the play, I would have had a Thought Seeds to break up part of that, take the Pact to Negation, and it would have won that game. So, or, take something else out of the hand, like the Spy itself, and then Thought Seeds the Pact to Negation. There's a lot of ways to do it, but the point is that I would have had one more resource and on turn 1 and been able to win the game. My opponent did not submit their deck because I definitely did. Hopefully this is not a problem. Okay, I will be on the play. And this hand is maybe a little too weak because it's only got a Force of Negation, not a Force of Will. This hand is a bit better. I control cycle to get black on turn 2. So I have a Thoughtseize and a Force of Negation, but it's a turn delayed. I think that's still worth keeping. And then I'll get rid of one of the 2 Psychic Frogs on the mulligan. And yeah, and then I'll lead on Wasteland Go. And then we'll see if my opponent is able to open on a Thoughtseize, if they kept a slower hand, what have you. Okay, yeah, look at that. Tapped land. So now I Swamp Cycle for an Underground Sea. I'm going to lead with the Thoughtseize so I can figure out whether or not I want a Wasteland. Probably do, but I want to make sure. Okay, so 2 Undercity Informers, a Voidwalker, a Charbelcher, a Boggart Trawler is the second black source. I think given the huge amount of hits they have here in all these black, I'm going to take the Boggart Trawler, and then I'm going to, as like literally their other black source, and then Wasteland. And now I think they're just very far from winning. Because they have only an Elvish Spirit Guide as a mana source. If I draw a mana source, I could play Frog, but I didn't. Found them on top though. No shuffle. And then I'll play that fetch land and pass once Moto stops lagging. Okay, play the Polluted Delta and pass. I'm going to probably fetch for an Undercity Sewers at end of turn. Get some surveilling on. Yep. So it's Sewers and Surveil before my opponent discards. I'm going to bin the Brainstorm. I'm just going to want to draw cards for right now that have text boxes. Bridge from Below is always better than the Yard. So it makes sense that they would play that. Or discard that, I mean. And I'm going to pass back to my opponent. I'm also going to force a negation any kind of permanent mana source that they try to play that I can. Like any non-land mana source, like a Chrome Mox, because keeping them off of lands is kind of where I want to be right now. Here's a Lotus Petal. Let's see how seriously I meant that. I don't think I'm actually going to force a negation of Lotus Petal. Because exactly this is why. Because I can instead counter the ritual that Petal gets used for. Now I know 5 of their 6 cards in hand, so it wasn't too likely they had an answer. Never 0 though. I don't need another frog. I need interactive elements here, like a Force of Will. So if I draw another blue card, I'll play out this frog, otherwise I'll keep this frog as force fodder. I no longer need to do that. I can instead reanimate Roller Frog. Do I want just like undeniable card advantage? Now let's end the game. That was a decision of how fast I want to win. I want to just get a couple extra cards every turn and turn that into insurmountable advantage, and I decided no. I want to get my opponent to 0 life. That said, I drew a Borrower and a Reanimate, so I could just have the best of both worlds here. I think that I'm going to reanimate my Psychic Frog. And then I can play this one. And now I'm drawing 4 cards next turn, so my opponent has no chance. Also, I'm going to deal 12 because I'll draw a card, so I'll have 3 cards in hand plus 9 power on board. I can discard to frogs, and I would have dealt my opponent lethal. So we've tied up the match, 1-1. Also confirmed the Belcher Pivot and the Voidwalkers. So do I like this build given that? I don't think I need 4 Entombs. Maybe I do. What would I replace it with? I don't think anything is necessarily better. Okay, we're here for game 3. Let's see what our hand looks like. Ooh. I don't think this is enough. Opponent's going to 6. I'm going to go to 6 as well. Also not enough. There's no interaction here. So I'll be going to 5. Opponent's keeping 6. I'm not. This 5 is pretty good, so we'll keep it. We're going to get rid of Entomb, and we're going to get rid of Brainstorm. I think we're getting rid of Brainstorm. Is that right? I obviously wish I could keep all of them. Wasteland is just so good against anything they open on with Disruption. Frog just ends the game. I need Force. Yeah, I guess I'm getting rid of Brainstorm. It feels wrong, but I think it's just I need all the other cards and I don't have too much time to interact. Okay, fantastic. I'm very happy that this was just a land pass situation. I'm going to Thoughtseize now so I know what I'm working against? It means I'd have to like force a land plus a Dothy Voidwalker. I'm still going to Thoughtseize now, I think. Get the first piece of interaction out of the way. Okay, so they have multiple lands as well as multiple Voidwalkers and a Balustrade Spy. The Spy costs 4. I can't take them off of lands entirely. This is a tough one. I think I'm going to have to fight over the Voidwalkers. Then hope I find another piece of interaction by the time the Spy comes around. Can I beat the Voidwalkers? Not right now. Yep, taking a Voidwalker. Don't love it. I don't think I can beat this Voidwalker. Not with my hand. The Voidwalker pitching Ponder, I think. Or sorry, force pitch Ponder on the Voidwalker. And Agadeem's Awakening was used. Okay, a land. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get the frog going this turn, kind of do a quick shields down moment here. Hope that my opponent can't get to 4 lands right now. I know they have a 3rd source. I don't know if they have a 4th. I'm gonna hope they don't. Thoughtseize me. Perfect. Thoughtseize that wasteland, buddy. Okay, that was really good for me. Boggart Bog enters tapped. Okay. So they don't have the 4th mana for Spy this turn. Let's see if I can continue to get the shutout going. Okay, Sewers might be a good draw down the road. It's Thoughtseize proof at least. Oh, speaking of. So it's Thoughtseize my opponent now. Balustrade Spy, Cabal Therapy. I'll take the Spy. And then I'm going to actually set up a Surveil this turn, I think. Because no, that is weak to Undercity Informer. So instead I'll hit the Boggart Bog so I can, if I draw Reanimate, I can reanimate the Trawler and exile their graveyard. Or reanimate the Dothy Voidwalker. I think that would actually be really hard for them to beat. If I draw Reanimate, I'm doing that. Undercity Sewers, I'm going to look for Reanimate. Found a Reanimate. So then I'm going to attack. Draw aforementioned Reanimate, and then I'll reanimate my opponent's Dothy Voidwalker. Now this means that they cannot mill their graveyard and succeed from there. They have a Dothy Voidwalker as well. These can bounce off each other. I'm going to attack with Frog. I guess I could have bounced the Voidwalker then attacked. Maybe that would have been a better play. Probably would have been a better play, but even still, I'm just going to Petty Theft the Voidwalker now. Swamp Cycle. Even though I made the mistake, I'm just going to not double down on said mistake. I will keep a Brainstorm on top at this point. Card selection seems great as far as answering my opponent's stuff. Another Voidwalker, or the same Voidwalker in for my opponent. Valmire, they're not using their Cabal Therapy. Okay. So I can right now just Petty Theft the Voidwalker. Now I can attack with my Voidwalker. Draw a card. Drew a Daze, which is always welcome. And I drew a Fatal Push, which is really nice with this whole Voidwalker situation. So I'll leave that in hand. Pass to my opponent. Let's see what they're going to do. They could, if they lead on Therapy and then they have Therapy Dark Rit something or other, or Dark Rit first, that's still kind of scary. Dothy Voidwalker is fine though. Don't mind that. Okay, I am going to daze this Poxwalkers, however. Or, no, first I'm going to Fatal Push the Dothy Voidwalker. And then I can daze the Poxwalkers and not let this daze go into my opponent's exile. And I got the match. They had enough. So that was pretty cool. I'm glad I had good mulligan discipline going to 5 there to find a good hand. I'm glad I played it out as I did. It worked out very well for me. We're 1-0. I'll see you all for round 2. Okay, we're here for round 2. We're against Tom Jabarte. Not sure what they're going to be on, but Thoughtseize will help me find out. I think I'm going to keep this hand because it's got, even though it has Force with no blue card, it's got good mana, it's got a Thoughtseize, it's got some, an Entomb, it's got some surveilling action, so I think overall on the play this is good enough to keep. If it didn't have a Thoughtseize, it's probably a good mulligan. Like an easy mulligan. Okay, so let's see what Thoughtseize reveals. My opponent kept their 7. Okay, so it's a mirror. Opponent's got Thoughtseize, they've got Entomb Reanimate. I think that I'm going to take their Entomb right now. Could also take their Thoughtseize and just leave them with Entomb Reanimate. I think that my hand is not that strong, so maybe taking Entomb is better. It also motivates them leading on Thoughtseize turn 1. Oh, they can't lead on Thoughtseize turn 1. They have Undercity Sewers. They could waste me, though. And they have, which is actually kind of nice for this land heavy draw. It'll push. Eventually can hit this Barrogoyf at least. I'm going to put Frog on top. Obviously don't want to entomb it into my opponent's Reanimate. They play a Surveil land and Surveil. They kept the card on top. So Sewers is gone. I'm going to just jam this Frog into play. And maybe it gets dazed. It did not. So we know these 5 cards are my opponent's hand. Okay, it was the second land. I did take Entomb. Okay, I was afraid they're about to just Entomb Reanimate straight up. At this point, we get to know what their plan is based off what they take. If they take Force of Will, that means their plan is to go full unfair. Which it is. They have no interest in fighting the fair game. Okay. They're also killing my Frog, which is rude. They could reanimate Frog and then I'd have to Fatal Push it. But I found Reanimate, so I'm going to Entomb first. I'm going to get Atraxa. I'm going to play the land and I'm going to Reanimate. Let's see, hopefully this works. I don't think my opponent drew a Force in this quick turn window. They didn't. Okay. Well, I can take Force, maybe. I can take Animate Dead, Reanimate, Underground Sea. Sure. Then, yeah, I'll replay the land, but I can also reanimate Psychic Frog. And this means that I have additional insurance against getting beat by reanimate stuff. Feeling pretty good about this. This is also why I kept that Entomb in the opening hand. And see how impressive this has looked. My opponent's about to reanimate, or animate dead, I should say, on their Roll of Khazad-dûm, which is going to put them to 12. They didn't find an answer to my Atraxa, so they just conceded. So, time to start sideboarding. So I think for sideboarding, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut the Entomb, the whole reanimation package, and Force of Wills, these 10. Because I think I want to try to see if I can leverage the power of the Abhorrent Oculus. So it's going to be a really straight these 10 for these 10 as far as the sideboard mapping goes. Let's see if this is strong enough to win the postboard games. With 0 black sources, unfortunately it's not. This one seems quite a bit better. I think I can afford to get rid of the Undercity Sewers because I have a second land in the Troll of Khazad-dûm. That's what I'm looking at. I might not have a second land in the Troll of Khazad-dûm anymore if my opponent takes the Troll. It'd be a pretty heads-up play on their end. More likely they take the Frog. No, they did take the Troll. Okay. Unfortunately for my opponent, I'm very lucky. So maybe I should have just played this land straight up. I thought it was that I didn't want to reveal that I just drew this land. Maybe they play as if I don't have lands, but I don't actually want them to wasteland me. So playing as if I don't have lands is actually an outcome I don't want. So leading on the Underground Sea over the Pluto Delta was probably a mistake. Now that said, my second turn, I think I'm just going to try to animate dead my troll. Yeah, this is not what I wanted. That was a mistake. But this mistake was not punished because I drew running basics. This gets basic swamp, this gets basic island. And so I'm now going to have stable mana, which is something I love. When it puts a land of their own into the yard. See, are they going to reanimate my troll? No. Okay, so I'm going to get basic swamp here. Just didn't want to draw the swamp. And I drew a daze. This is very nice. Okay, so a basic island has a stable mana. Reanimate this troll. Troll on the battlefield, please. Might get Fairy Macabre. I might also let it go. Seeing if I'm... But they know my hand, so they know I don't have Entomb Reanimate stuff going on. No, they're forcing it. I'm fine with that. Hopefully I can get this frog into play before they reanimate my troll, so that I can exile it at a whim. Okay, so Wasteland is out, which means I feel really good about these basics. Reanimating my troll, nothing I can do about that. Other than try to put a frog into play and race it to victory. Yeah, I think I'm going to play frog before Bowmaster. Just because they know about the frog and I kind of don't want to pass. That was a mistake. I should have just passed and let them waste mana. More likely to walk into daze. Maybe now I can just pass with no action and they might not think I have a Bowmaster. Not likely. The Barrogoyf or Murktide? Murktide. Lovely. So I'm taking 14 next turn. It's a little bit too much damage. No, I found a Brazen Borrower. Now, what do I want to do here? I think I brazenly borrow my own troll first. Yeah. It's petty theft the troll. If they fight me over it, I might be able to daze back and get an extra land drop. That doesn't actually make sense because they could pay for, if they like forced it and I daze back, they could pay with their wasteland. But even still, I just wanted to do it there. They could technically, like, I don't know, hardcast force negation. I don't think they would have it, but you know, it's technically something that could happen to me there. Now I need to draw land to not die, but I was dead in 2 hits, either the troll or the Murktide doing me in, so that doesn't really matter. Okay, reanimating my frog is not what I want to have happen, but it has happened. Animate dead. Could have reanimated my frog, but as of now it can't. So I am conceding this game and into game 3. Okay, so against Murktides and the like, maybe I want 2 Entombs and an Archon. And then I would cut the 2 Barrogoyfs just because they're a little bit slow. And 1 Animate dead? No. Yeah. Alright, I'll try this. Okay, on the play for game 3 of this Froginator mirror, we have no colored sources, so we have to mulligan. This one looks quite a bit better. Gonna keep it, gonna get rid of this Entomb. I think this is a really good fair hand. Or this Oculus is maybe a ways out. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of the Oculus here. Just because I have a bunch of 2-drops. And then I can always just Entomb Reanimate if I draw a reanimation spell. I'll put Go for the Throat on top because I don't currently have a removal spell. Gonna hope I don't get Runner Wasteland or something like that. So far, looking good on that note. And then I'm gonna play out the Frog right now because it is nice if they try to Fatal Push at end step. I can just Daze. And the fact that I have the Daze really means that I want to leverage using my mana and have us fight quickly. They're just gonna go for a Troll Cycle. No, Dismember. So this is great. I will Daze the Dismember. Then technically I could pitch my whole hand to beat it if they fight back. I did not have to do that. The reason I might have done that, by the way, is using a Dismember first is kind of the play you would make if you don't have a better removal spell. Troll Cycle, of course. Anyway, the point being is that I don't think they have a Fatal Push if they're starting off with a Dismember. Now, could be proven wrong, but nope, I'm getting reanimated here. I'm going to go for its throat. Try to cut the troll's throat with my Go for the Throat. Another smart reason for me to have binned the Abhorrent Oculus is in case I draw a second one, because I really only am able to cast one. You know, I'm thinking maybe by doing a 2-2 swap for Oculus and Fnatic, maybe that was a mistake. Instead, I could just play one of each because you really don't like to have like two Fanatics clogging your hand, but also double Oculus is a bit of a clog. And so 1-1 might be the sweet spot there. They already have a Troll, so this Troll Cycle didn't really change much except for help them hit their land drops. Does this mean that there's something scary coming in? No, just an Animate Dead. They're already at 8 life, so hopefully I'm able to do some damage here. I can just bounce the Troll. Yeah, I'm just thinking about giving them an extra land. I don't think giving them extra land matters. So I'm going to Petty Theft the Troll. So they don't get the Animate Dead again. I'll attack. On end step, I'll oh wait. I already played a Wasteland turn, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to Entomb until the end step. Opponent Pondering. Obviously can't cast the Bowmaster right now, but wouldn't mind if I could. One thing I could technically do next turn is just pitch a bunch of cards to get this Oculus into play. I guess I Entomb plus card and Troll Cycle really do add total pieces of cardboard quickly. So yeah, Barrowglyph is entered. Slightly annoying, but we can Entomb Archon of Cruelty. And then let's Brainstorm, and then we can follow it up with the cycle. Oh, we found a Reanimate. Okay, so that should do it, really. Let's put Troll and Wasteland on top. Let's reanimate the Archon. It resolves. I don't really want to draw the Wasteland, so I'll fetch now. This puts my opponent to 3 actually, and I just have lethal, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, discard a card. Let's discard Abhorrent Oculus. And yeah, opponent sees writing on the wall. We got the match. So we're 2-0. I'll see you all for round 3. Okay, we're back for round 3 against Shoutin, who, if history serves, is potentially going to be our second Oops All Spells player of the night. However, this hand is very good against them. I've got a turn 1 Thoughtseize as well as Forceful Backup and turn 2 Entomb Reanimate. So really, that's all I could ask for in a hand. Also, opponent going to 6. We like them when that happens. But yeah, let's open up with a Thoughtseize, and hopefully we don't get burned. But this hand is very powerful. I don't know what would beat it. I guess I could take Once Upon a Time and shut off their initial. But if they find a black source off the top, I'm in huge trouble. I could take their Pact of Negation, which would mean that they have to commit into the spy. I think I like that plan. Because if I take Pact, they have a lot more spies than they do Pacts. They have only 3 Pact negation, and they have, 7 more spies as well as Reanimate. So I like the way that this worked out. Also, if they drew a land, they could Once Upon a Time into another spy. They can't Once Upon a Time into a Pact negation. Let's see what they find. Found a green source, which is not the best land they can muster. That, however, is a good land. Now means I know their whole hand. They're going to go Dark Ret and then probably just commit the spy. So I can force that and I can pitch Psychic Frog. So at this point, I think that with this Entomb Reanimate, I can actually get Archon and just prevent them from getting a critical mass of anything. So I can get Archon of Cruelty here. This is kind of to prevent a bad Atraxa from causing me to lose. But now they have to pitch Simian Spirit Guide or Dark Ritual. They pitch the Spirit Guide. But now it means if they draw a black source, they can't Dark Writ into anything because they'll be out of cards. They only have the Dark Writ and the 1 card they drew for turn. And then on my side, so they can never get anything going this game. Then I'll win before they end up getting a critical mass of things because Archon will keep them discarded. I will draw with Archon first before I ponder. We'll have to discard a Disciple of Fairlies. Even be able to Thoughtseize their Dark Writ now, which just means that this game is extra over. Let's ponder for a Wasteland to get a perfect kill. Okay, did not find that. I'm not going to spy them because that's how they could Memory's Journey into a win here. What does Disciple of Fairlies do? Could sack another creature and draw that many cards where X is that creature's power, so I could sack this to gain 6 life, draw 6 cards. I mean, I was going to do that because it was funny, but when I conceded before I could, did not let me have any fun. Pretty rude. Anyway, so for sideboarding, let's see what they play. So their most recent Oops All Spells list has Charbelcher and LED, but does not have any Dothy Voidwalkers. So I'm going to board like this and then cut the Fatal Pushes entirely, and I'll cut the Trolls entirely and the Oculi because I think that the game's not going to be about them. It's going to be whether I can just stop what my opponent's doing. And we'll keep both of these in. And that's fine. Kind of enables more random wins. And also I can Entomb Reanimate or whatever over less mana commitment than 1 Abhorrent Oculus in a single turn, which means I can leave up stuff like Consigned to Memory. So let's see if we can get there. Just to play first, I have a hand with 3 Force of Wills in it. Keep. Chancellor of the Annex, huh? One way to beat 3 Force of Wills. I mean, I'll have to double force. It'll rip my whole hand apart if they have the turn 1. Looks like they do. So there's the spy. So I'll go force, pitching Brazen Borrower. Gets Chancellored. Now I can force again. Choose my other Force of Will. And they have Pact. Okay, well, I guess I can't beat that. So let's see how they boarded. They would have had Jack-o'-lantern and all that good stuff. Yep. I'm gonna let them Cabal Therapy me before I concede. There's those 4 Poxwalkers coming in. I'll concede the game. Okay, let's look at their deck here. It's got, really it looks like the main deck with a Chancellor. 2 Chancellors in the deck, huh? One in hand, one in the here. Those might come out for game 3, but we'll see. So for my side, I think I'm just going to run it back. Okay. I don't think I want to keep this one on the play. I think I can do better. This is, I think, better. No, it's not. This is triple reanimate. This is not Entomb Reanimate. For a second I thought it was, at which point it would have been fine. But no, we're going to go to 5 here. This is better. So I'll put away, keep this, I'll put away Archon and Brainstorm. And then I'll lead on a Thoughtseize. See what I can find. Okay, so Dark Writ. There's the Spy. They have 2 lands as well. I am just going to take the Spy, I believe. Although, no, they can't Academ's Awakening it. It costs too much. So, the Undercrypt enters tapped. Ghost Vacuum, fantastic draw. In fact, I think it's so good that I'm just going to do Ghost Vacuum pass, because I'm going to save this Brainstorm for when I want to kind of clear duds. I'm going to eat this Spy now. And not Surveil or anything yet. Consign to Memory is another good draw. Because if they open with something like a Charbelcher, I'll be able to just consign it. Okay, Greenland. I am going to Brainstorm now, though, just to get some action going. Okay, so found Atraxa and Reanimate. Unfortunately, I don't have a Surveil land to stack with the Atraxa, so I'm just going to put Atraxa and Underground Sea back. And then I'll fetch, go to 16, do some surveilling. I don't want the Underground Sea. Under Brainstorm, see what we can find. Exciting. So I'll put away Force of Will, or put away. Yeah. I don't know why, I just kind of get the vibe I'm going to want to hide a Force of Will this turn. So I'm putting that on top. The Spirit Guide. I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to daze the Spirit Guide and just kind of stack my deck a little bit. If they pitch a Spirit Guide to pay for it, that's actually fine, because it's still eliminating a Spirit Guide. And now I can get rid of this last Reanimate. So I'm saving myself a dead draw, which is among my favorite things to do. I wonder if Boggart Trawler comes in this turn, and whether or not they play around days. Poxwalkers comes in. That's a little annoying, but I think... Actually, yeah, yuck. I think I've got to force this one, because I can reanimate it. Oh, I found something better to reanimate. So I'm going to Entomb. Get Atraxa. I'm going to reanimate Atraxa. And I'll find a land off of this, like so. Animate dead. Entomb. Ghost Vacuum, Psychic Frog. Done. Now, do I want to go to 3 for some reason? This Poxwalker? No, I think what I want to do here is play a second Ghost Vacuum. I think this is a more insulated way to beat a random Belcher off the top or something. Because, yeah, I don't think I can actually beat a Belcher off the top right now. Because they have 7 mana. Augur Trawler is 5, Writ goes 6, 7, plus the 4 in play. So they could do Belcher plus activate Belcher. But I have lucked out. So I will get rid of that Poxwalker. Let's attack with Atraxa. And then I'm going to do an Entomb Animate Dead, I believe. Maybe Entomb Reanimate. So I'll be going. I'm not going to get to 2 dangers of life total here. It means I could cast something else that I draw, like the Psychic, or just cast the Psychic Frog. Maybe it's Entomb Reanimate, so I can just cast Psychic Frog. Entomb, Archon of Cruelty, Reanimate, Archon of Cruelty. Dread Return, another card I can eat with Ghost Vacuum. Play a Psychic Frog. Okay. So now my opponent is in trouble, I believe. No, I could be wrong. I could be the one who's in trouble. 4, 5. What you got? 6, 7, 8. Concession. Ah, got me good. GG. Okay, so we are 3-0. I'll see you for round 4. Hello, we're up for round 4 against the Witch Kling, who has most recently also been seen on Oops All Spells. This hand is a Thoughtseize with Force backup, so I'm going to keep it. We'll see if they are on actual Oops All Spells or something else this time. Okay, so turn 1, Thoughtseize, target you. What you got? What you got going on over there? So it is in fact the Spy. I think that I'm going to take the Pact of Negation. Same strategy as last time when I did the same thing. Take the Pact and force them to run out the Informer. Now granted, this does walk into discard more readily, but I also don't have an initial black source. And I drew an Entomb, which is wonderful. Because what it means is that I can put Archon of Cruelty into my yard and then reanimate it. So Entomb, Archon, and then I'll Surveil. Let's put a Troll in the yard. When it cleans up, puts Poxwalkers in their yard. Found a fresh Entomb I don't need quite yet. Let's animate dead on this Archon of Cruelty. They discard, I draw. And they discard a Simian Spirit Guide. I'm going to do some pondering. On Thoughtseize and Reanimate, that's great. I'm actually going to hide the Thoughtseize. And then I can Thoughtseize myself and reanimate Atraxa, which is a pretty sweet play. First, I'm going to attack my opponent. See what they do. As far as their discarding goes and what have you. Discarded the Spirit Guide. So yeah, I could try to cheese them out of the game by like discarding their Informer and reanimating it and targeting them, but too likely it goes wrong with a Memories Journey or something. So instead, I'm going to Thoughtseize myself, pick this Atraxa, and then reanimate it. Now I can choose Force of Will, Ponder, and Blue Delta, I suppose. Kind of weak sauce combo there, but I guess it was enough. So this version appears to just have a pile of Thoughtseize on the board, as opposed to any other type of interaction. Like no pivot plan, just pushing the way for things to get through. So I'm going to try to make my deck as resilient as possible, I suppose. What does that mean at this point? Let me see if I want Null Rod. I don't think I actually want Null Rod. I think it shuts off my Ghost Vacuums too much. And then I can potentially cut Trolls. And I'll Raise and Borrower in just because it's a clock. Okay. Run like this. We've got a Force of Negation and a Daze. I think we keep it. Actually, I don't know. I think I can do better, actually. I don't have a reliable way to hit 2 mana. I don't have any Entomb Reanimate. I'm going to ship this hand. Opponent is keeping 7. We are not. We're keeping 6. This is the same hand. We keep it on 6, though. I think I'm going to go to 5. We'll keep this. I'm going to put away Animate Dead, Reanimate. This has just got Force plus Ghost Vacuum. And I can cast Ghost Vacuum with the Wasteland. What we got? Dark Rit? Yeah. Informer? No. See if they've got the Pact. No Pact this time. Okay, drew another Animate Dead. But that's okay, we've got a Ghost Vacuum in play. Pretty big help in this matchup. So I can get rid of the Informer now. Drew a Force of Will. It's part 1 of good combos. I think I'm actually going to knock out the Agadim now, so that my opponent doesn't have an easy way to have black to Thoughtseize me. Never mind. They have a Boggart Bog. But I'm just going to keep getting stuff out of their graveyard. Now I have Entomb Reanimate, but no way to cast it. Play either draw blue cards or lands. Either way is okay with me. Boxwalkers, yep. Okay, well there's a blue card. So one part of the problem is answered. But I will need to... I'm just hitting their yard for fun at this point. This Poxwalkers, I don't think I can afford to keep around. Let's force it. And then I can reanimate it if I draw land. Should have been more specific. There we go. And now I have Entomb Reanimate next turn. And can, of course, do that with my Archon of Cruelty. Probably. Opponent's coming in, I think. Yep. Puts me in a good old 12 life. In the end step, I will eat this Poxwalkers because I know I have an Entomb Reanimate available to me. I might not have Entomb Reanimate available to me. Let's see if my opponent takes Entomb. they take Entomb, I'm probably not going to eat the Poxwalkers. I'm just instead going to animate dead it or reanimate it. Hard to say. They could take my reanimate to turn off Entomb reanimate from me, like next turn. But no, they were more careful. They took Entomb. So yeah, I'm just going to eat their Thoughtseize this turn. Doesn't matter really. And then I'm going to reanimate the Poxwalkers. Actually, I'm gonna surveil first. Maybe I hit my Atraxa. I don't hit my Atraxa. I think I actually want to bin this consigned to memory. I don't think I want it right now. We'll reanimate the Poxwalker. So now, if they attack, I'll block. And then I can start eating them with Ghost Vacuum. Also, both Poxwalkers are now in play, which is, not in the graveyard, as these things go. Classically known as not in the graveyard. Opponent thought long and hard and is now putting a Jack-o'-lantern on the stack. Jack-o'-lantern has hit the yard, or hit the field. I'm just going to untap. Drew another consigned to memory. Okay. Memory is consigned. Potentially a good draw. Does stop a Thassa's Oracle trigger. It also technically can stop a Jack-o'-lantern. No, it can't. These are activated abilities. This is not a stifle. Cannot stop Jack-o'-lantern. It can stop stuff like Poxwalker's returning or a Thassa's Oracle trigger, however. So they're tapping this as a 5th land. Or they entered untapped, I mean. Second Poxwalkers. They're trying to combo me now? Is that what that means? I guess I'll call the bluff. Here's the spy. Yep. See here. Oh, I could have countered this triggered ability. That might come back to bite me. That's very dumb. Oh no, I haven't been able to do that yet. Now I'll cast it. Counter target triggered ability. Great. It was not very dumb. I was very smart instead. Okay, I think I'm going to play a Poxwalker. Or reanimate Poxwalker. If they counter it, I'll fight back. They didn't. I do need to stop this 2/3 flying at some point. Hopefully before it kills me. I have taken a lot of pain in this game. Another land. One way out of dying here would be to get to 6 lands. But really, I think I need a Psychic Frog. Kind of froggy intervention. Got a 4 here. What are you doing? Pithing Needle? I guess I'll crack it. They're probably going to name Ghost Vacuum, but even still. Think I might lose this one to combat damage. Yeah, I'm not going to use the vacuum preemptively in case they have another Balustrade Spy in hand. I did choose Ghost Vacuum. Okay, Ponder. Help me out here. No. Well, that wasn't what I wanted. Keep it in hand for a brainstorm. Obviously, it does nothing with this Pithy Needle in play. So the opponent has me going to 1. It's not where I want to be. And hopefully I can draw something relevant. Psychic Frog would do it, Brazen Borrower. Those are all in there. Oh, they're going to go for a spy win anyway? Okay. Got me dead 2 ways now. Now I get to see how you sideboarded. Guess what do you do? Got 2 Narcomoebas. Pact, Memory's Journey, Oracle. Yep, all looks pretty standard. Unmask. 1 Cabal Therapy. 2 Cabal Therapy. Search from below. Couple Pith Needles is the main thing. Okay. Do it. Well, therapy me and I'll concede. Okay. I think the plan is good though. I'm just gonna run it back. I was double dead though. Unfortunately for my opponent, it only counts as winning 1 game. He'll have to beat me in game 3 to get a game win, or a match win. On the play for game 3. And we've got a turn 1 Ghost Vacuum. So easy keep. Also, it's got a Brazen Borrower to answers to Ghost Vacuum. So yeah, I am just going turn 1, Underground Sea, Ghost Vacuum. Opponent kept on 6, so we go fetch Underground Sea. Play Ghost Vacuum. Good luck, have fun. This version of the deck is pretty soft to a Graph Digger's Cage, for what it's worth. However, it looks like my opponent is going to power through this somehow. Boggart Bog Lotus Petal. Thoughtseize is me, yeah. What's next? They can't try to reanimate any of my stuff because I'll just Ghost Vacuum to exile it. This hand is pretty resilient against Thoughtseize, which is nice because all these ponders mean that the troll is not that high value of a target. Brazen Borrower is only good if they find a Pith Needle, which is like something they do need to do, but even still, it's like much later down the line and lets me develop well. Yeah, this hand is pretty good against Thoughtseize as far as hands go. Also, I have the Ghost Vacuum already in play. They ended up finally going with one of my 2 ponders. Probably not the scariest choice, but I don't mind that they made it. And I drew a land naturally, which means I can ponder now. Then shuffle it with an Entomb or the Troll. I'll keep the Reanimate. No shuffle, let's just play a land and pass. And then I can do some Entomb Reanimate nonsense on my turn. It's very fun. Happy for that opportunity. Pithing Needle. Don't love it. Probably names Ghost Vacuum. Yep. Let's see if I'm dead. Not dead. Very cool. Playing Tomb now. Get Atraxa, I believe, this time around because I can still borrow her to bounce the vacuum. Yeah, I reanimate Atraxa. And then I get Force of Will. I get Wasteland. I get Thoughtseize. And do I pick Arcana Cruelty? No, I just leave it. Done. So I will Thoughtseize first. And then I can choose to Wasteland. The Spy, Reanimate, Pact. Take the Pact. Whatever they do, that's going to be a pain. And given I know that they have a Reanimate, I'll hit the Felmire. Okay. So I do have a Force if things go awry here. But they cannot cast Spy yet. Okay, Drew and Animate dead too. So let's attack. Put opponent to literally dead next turn. I can still do that, I suppose. So I'm going to leave up. I could have just cycled Troll and left it. But instead, I'm just going to attack and then I'll Entomb end step. Then animate dead on Archon for the lethal point of damage. Opponent doesn't know they're dead, which is also something that's useful right now. Oh, GG. Opponent said GG in chat, so I guess they did know that they're dead. Anyway, yeah, cool. We're 4-0. That was a quick one. I'll see you all for round 5. Okay, we're here for round 5 against S. Rogers 90, who plays a bunch of different decks, but has not been seen on Oops All spells anytime recently. My 7 and 6 don't have lands, so I'm going to 5. 5 does have lands. It's got Entomb as well. I think I'm gonna keep it. I'll put away the basics. And then I'll play out the Undercity Sewers and do some surveilling. Frog on top. Okay, things are looking up. We get Thoughtseize. They probably take Entomb. And turn 2 Frog with Days backup is probably as good as things can get. Okay, looks like they're on Ancient Tomb, the other kind of tomb. So I will play out this Frog. Get my Frogs on. And then just try to cheese the game. Hopefully this Days does something. Don't know which version of Ancient Tomb they're on yet. It's like Eldrazi. Means this Days is probably less good than it was a minute ago. Fleshraker cannot be countered, as it says right there on the card. Okay, Atraxa. Ataxa. At the very least, I'm discarding Atraxa, so I can just do that. And probably also Entomb. No, I'm not going to discard Entomb yet, because Entomb can technically put 2 cards in the yard. Drew a card. Okay, so 3, 4 cards, so I can't do anything with Oculus just yet. So I will play this out and pass the turn. Okay. Let's see if I'm able to win this game before the opponent can run away with it. Something Eldrazi is being cast. Thought Not Seer. Not counterable. But unfortunately, I think that I have to just let this go. And I not respond to it. Because Like there's nothing I can do about this. Either Entomb or Oculus gets hit. I actually don't really care which one. Like it doesn't matter. Either way, it's bad for me. And then I think I don't actually cast the Entomb because it's also good as a bluff way to grow the Psychic Frog. You technically want to be able to make it a 6/7. I guess it'll only be able to be a 5/6. It could lose to a double block. However, Entomb was the card selected. Okay. Fleshraker is in. Ponder. Okay. Reanimate. Love it. Go shuffle. Reanimate Atraxa. Susan, thank you. Let's go with a Force of Will. Well, let's animate Dead, we know. Prison Borrower, we know. This Entomb. Pluto Delta Thoughtseize. Done. So I could see here. I think I want to start with the Thoughtseize. And then take, the Devourer of Destiny that's just hanging out here. Get me with the cast trigger. And then I'll play this, and I'm not going to attack with Frog so I don't randomly die. Yeah. Okay. So Devourer of Destiny has been taken. Let's hope that I survive the turn. Maids of Ith being played is a great step in that direction. Okay, cool. So I can go Underground Sea, Entomb, Archon. Then I can animate Dead. Actually, second Petty Theft. Brazen Bar. Nah. I'm trying to think about if they just sacrifice the spawn, but I don't really care. So yeah, they can do that. Lose the spawn. I do not care. Yeah, they sack that. I draw days. I can attack with both friends. They can't really block the frog. Like I can discard 2 cards to it too freely. Yes, they're amazing the Traxa, and they're just taking the heat off the frog because they know that they can't deal with it. I draw for turn. Or draw Animate Dead. Okay, that's nice. I think I'm just going to devour some Destiny though. Let's see. Here we go. And then go 1, 2, 3. Oculus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I get a manifestation on the opponent's upkeep. And now I'm very ahead in this game because they can't even exile this one. This is colorless. That's great. Okay, I have Ugin. Yeah, any Kozilek's command is going to be dazed, double dazed. I feel like they're not going to play around double days with that. Maybe they do. But it would be for X equals 5. Or sorry, yeah, 5, because this doesn't tap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They pay through double days. That's not lethal. For what it's worth. And I can still double daze it, so they wouldn't be able to cast other stuff. No, they'd still be able to cast other stuff. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. It is a Kozilek's command, it looks like. Are they going to play around a single daze? They're not going to be happy to find out I have 2 dazes. It is, in fact, a Kozilek's command. Let's trigger on the stack daze. And you have to pay. Then with the trigger on the stack, I daze again. You cannot pay. Yeah, that's close. I said rip LOL. So I said, yeah, it's close. It was. That would have done me in. Okay, so now against the Eldrazi menace, I want the consigns. Fatal pushes go for the throat. Barrowgoyfs. I also want the reanimation package. I don't really want my dazes. The oculi seem good. I don't know if I want all the forces. Borrower I do want as well. Maybe I don't want the full set of removal spells actually. Like, I don't know, I could cut a couple reanimation effects. It's like a small trim on those for the graveyard hate and the bouncing and stuff. And then I can cut a couple ponders. Maybe I cut all the ponders. And keep the full set of entombs and reanimates. Or actually go down to 3 reanimates and 3 animate deads to help play around Chalice of the Void. Do that. Opponents being very cool, kind. They congratulated me on my Eternal Weekend run where I took down Vintage Championships. Became the Vintage Champion for the year. Which is a very fortunate thing to have happen. You have to get lucky to win a tournament, and I did in spots. Some of it was on camera. Okay, Leyline of the Void. Well, good thing I have a couple borrowers. Lotus Petal coming in, so this is a Fleshraker. I can Fatal Push it. It's not, so I think I'm just going to fire off the Wasteland on the Tomb. Get it out of the way now. Potentially shut them off of mana. Okay, they have a temple, so did not shut them off that well. Given that they probably are going to cast a spell next turn, I'm going to leave up this Consign in Memory. And hopefully I can find a Brazen Borrower for this Leyline of the Void. Once Upon a Time resolves. I don't have counter spells that counter this in my deck right now. I mean, I have Force of Wills, but I'm not going to force it. Cavern of Souls. Okay, well, not going to force much of anything now. I think I'm going to Brainstorm. See if I can't get a Psychic Frog down. No. Oh, I found a Borrower. Great. So let's get rid of, I guess, one of my Brainstorms. So I can just get rid of the Brainstorm. It gets exiled because of Leyline of the Void. Speaking of, I am going to cycle this Troll into the Void just to hit a 3rd land drop because that's going to be valuable for me. And I'll be able to entomb whenever I try to reanimate eventually, so I'm fine on that. A Mega Spawn, so I can counter the part that matters, which is the cast trigger, so I will do that. They got a 3/3. Deal. Okay, I found another Entomb. It's a little bit too much. I think I Still just troll cycle now. My third land. And then end step all petty theft the Leyline of the Void. Or your response with Thought Not Seer if that's what it comes down to. See what's happening to me now. Hopefully not more Micro Spawns. Feel like it might be more Micro Spawns though. Chalice of the Void, huh? Well, that means that I actually probably want to brainstorm now. Oh, I found a consign. That's great. Okay, so put away Entomb and Fatal Push. I can consign to counter the Chalice. Okay. Now I can play out the frog. And then if it gets removed, I can Fatal Push the Micro Spawn. Otherwise, I'm holding the ground for it. All in all, this seems okay. If opponent goes to attacks, they don't. Okay. I think I just draw for turn. I'm going to brainstorm first, because if I can Fatal Push this Echo Spawn, it makes it easier to get in there. I can't, but I did draw a bunch of good stuff. So let's put away... I have no yard, I'll put away an Oculus and an Entomb. And then I'll just pass, because Blast Zone can tick up to 2 counters too easily. Which means that I wouldn't be able to... I'd pitch a bunch of cards to keep the frog alive, only to lose it. So that's not quite what I want to do. It's not as Blast Zone has probably got its sights set on the frog. Also means that this Micro Spawn is a pretty free attack for them. They're gonna pop it now. Yep. Just wanted to make sure it worked. Okay, so now in response to this, I'm gonna petty theft the Leyline of the Void. The frog goes into my graveyard. Now I'm in luck. I can Entomb in my upkeep. Put, I think, Archon of Cruelty into the yard. Yeah. I can draw for turn. Drew the other one. Okay, well, what you gonna do? Not quite ideal. We try to manage. It's happening. Don't care for it. Thought Not Seer. I do indeed not care for it. So I think that I'm going to petty theft just to like get things ahead to find a land. It's technically is worse for me on as far as the cards they get to select from. For instance, I now have cleared this Thoughtseize off the top of my deck. I'm really just looking for a land. I assume that this Barrowglyph is going to get taken. It did not get taken. I can Thoughtseize my opponent before going for any reanimation if I draw reanimation. Found a troll. Okay, let's I guess do some Undercity Sewersing. we find? Force of will that I don't want. Not to use my opponent. Okay. Member, Fleshraker, Thought Not Seer. I think I'm somehow more afraid of Fleshraker right now because it is the card that has better reach. Once I get a board state going, I can stonewall a Thought Not Seer. I can't do the same with the Fleshraker. Ley lines are tying up my opponent's hand. Ooh, Brutal Mecha Spawn. Okay, let's see what they find. Iovugan. Wasteland. Shouldn't be Wasteland, I don't think. Iovugan makes the most sense. They also have a Thought Knot Seer in hand here. I accidentally clicked to remove the Thought Knot instead of the Fleshraker, but they have a Fleshraker in the yard and a Thought Knot in hand. They did in fact get Iovugan. Okay, so I'm going to 5 here. If I don't find a fetch land or something better to do, like putting this Archon into play, I am dead. That's unfortunate. I believe I am dead. I'm going to flash in. Maybe they remove something of mine from the board. But otherwise, these fatal pushes do not work right now because I have no way to trigger Revolt. Gonna play a Brazen Borrower. Maybe they dismember it to be fancy and I'm able to get a fatal push off. Not likely, but I've seen sillier things happen. And obviously, I'm dead to Alpha. I just want to make sure they do it. Yep. Cool. So, I think on the play, I'm going to put the 2 dazes in over 2 forces, but other than that, I'll run it back. Well, maybe I'll also swap 1 fatal push for a go for the throw after how that game played out. Also a little bit better against Chalice of the Void as well. This is fine-ish. Opponent's keeping 7, has Leyline. Makes my Oculus sad. Also makes Fnatic sad for what it's worth. That's just a lose-lose. So let's get a Surveil going. Another land. Yeah. Entomb, not quite what I need either. But I'm just trying to shut my opponent off of a functional draw, hoping that they kept it off of the back of Ancient Tomb. Also, getting rid of the tombs makes my dazes better. However, I am now stuck. Nothing going on. Hopefully they don't have something scary like a wasteland. They might. But we'll see. Iovugan is also kind of scary in a way. This is something I can daze. It is. So I'll float black to daze it. Because if they somehow are able to pay, I can fatal push it. Because I triggered Revolt. Also, that ends up being a card I can animate dead. So that's pretty nice. Okay, so now I am looking for land. I'm sorry for throwing you away, Mr. Rainforest. Please come back to me. Took you for granted. I'll never do it again. Things are going to get a lot harder to counter now. Like this, whatever it is. Make a spawn. I assume they're going to find a wasteland and I still have to just let it happen. No, I'm going to daze. Not a coward. They don't have to pay, but I want to just save the land from a potential wasteland here. Yep, like that one. At least now if it gets wasted, I get an extra surveil. Like this, I get one extra surveil. Okay. And I'll get another surveil after that. That's what we will do. Undercity sewers, you are all I got. Is this, what's this? Yeah, wasting me. Cool. No more land for me. Fleshraker, yep. Counterable for what it's worth. I just can't counter it. Lex command for x equals 2. Drawing card. Setting up the top of their deck with good stuff. Dealing me extra damage for my pain. But 2 cards on top, 0 bottom. I'm dead. So dead. I'm dead. I'll concede to that one. Okay. So we're 4-1 now. I'll see you all for round 5. Okay, we're here for the win-in against INF. We are on the play, which is quite fortunate in these pseudo mirrors. INF has been playing mostly like blue-black tempo these days. Okay, so they have 2 Nether Goyfs and little Delta Wasteland. I'll take another Goyf. I can eventually reanimate it. Say eventually because I think I'm going to get wastelanded right now. Yep. A little unfortunate. But I honestly knew it was coming. Given they have so many brainstorms in their hand, I'm just going to fire this one off now. I hit a land, which is wonderful. And I can put away... I'll hide a Psychic Frog on top of my deck. And then on my turn, I can Troll Cycle and cast and reanimate Troll. They've got another Goyf. And I know 4 of the 5 cards in their hand. So yeah, I'll get a basic swamp here. And then I'll reanimate Troll. It worked. Wonderful. Land and Brainstorm that we knew about. Imagine those 2 brainstorms are going away given the clock that my opponent is now under with this Troll. They're looking for a Brazen Borrower, go for the throat, something like that. And I fortunately also have this Fatal Push for the Nether Goyf. My opponent is also already in trouble. I think I'm going to fire off a Brainstorm first while they can't Bowmaster me. Entomb and Animate Dead are quite nice to find. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do here is just hold back. Not even going to attack. I think that I can just play around Daze entirely here by entombing and then Animate Dead. So I can entomb. If this gets forced. Maybe it does. Opponent's thinking about it. does indeed get forced. I guess I'll redraw the Psychic Frog. Okay. So now I can cast a Psychic Frog. I feel like this walks into a Fatal Push that's in hand. But maybe that's okay. I do have Animate Deads ready to go. And I can Fatal Push the Nethergoyf. Well, they pitch with the Force. They pitch to Daze. They might have a second Daze. I'm going to try to play around Daze for as long as I can. Bowmaster in play. That's fine. Let that happen. Okay. Surveilling. Would be fine. Out a Tameo for the yard. Okay. Or just didn't want a Tameo at this point in the game. Just fair. Okay, so Psychic Frog dies. Brainstorm, I think I'm going to try to Fatal Push before the Brainstorm. Let's see if this gets dazed. Did not get dazed, okay. The Brainstorm resolves. And a Ponder now after the Brainstorm probably clears that. They shuffled. So I've got them dead to rights here. Let's start with a Thoughtseize. He'll Spellbomb and Brainstorm. I will take the Brainstorm. I'll Animate Dead. My Frog. If I cast it correctly. I'll attack, put my opponent to very close to lethal, and pass the turn. Okay, another Goyf coming up out of the yard here to triple block this troll. So if I can find a removal spell here, then I'm in great shape. Oops. I just did that into a Bowmaster. That was dumb. Oh, yeah, what you gonna do? That was silly of me. Edge Brainstorm right into a Bowmaster. Don't know why I did that. That said, I still have this game, I think, locked up because I can Brazen Borrower to kill, like, after the army goes away. So then put all the targets there. Then I will Petty Theft the Nethergoyf. Okay, cool. So I still win. Because of Ultra Menace, but yeah, that was a little bit silly. Okay, so now sideboarding against the boys. I think I want to cut at least 2 Entombs in the Atraxa. And maybe a couple Forces. Maybe a couple Dazes. Kind of like that. I want Ghost Vacuum. I want Fatal Push, go for the throat. I want Bowmasters. I want Barragoyf. Can I afford to cut all the Forces? Probably. I do want another Brazen Borrower, so what's the last cut? Maybe one animate dead. They have stuff too. Maybe one of my Thoughtseizes. I'm on the draw. Thoughtseize is kind of reactive. Yeah, that seems fine. Okay, this looks solid. Keep. So I'll go Ghost Vacuum pass, I believe. And I'll do it off of Basic Island now that I have this Troll for Basic Swamp. The vacuum is in. You're vacuuming. I'm going to activate it on end step basically to try to keep my opponent's graveyard small. And minimize the amount of important card types that they have in there. You're brainstorming while I can't Bowmaster, and then I have a Tamiyo, okay. Another thing that the vacuum does is prevent Tamiyo's -3 from becoming too relevant. I think I'm gonna Swamp Cycle now just to kind of try to play around days a little bit. Like if they daze, they set themselves back to 0 lands. And that seems good for me. They do daze. They are set back to 0 lands. See if that is in fact good for me. I can get a Troll going pretty quickly. So it depends if they have another Brainstorm in hand to flip Tamiyo. They do. Okay. That's fine. Plus, but I'm gonna get Troll into play and then I'm gonna try to cast a Bowmaster. Yeah, let's put Reanimate Troll. See if that works. Doesn't. Okay, how about Animate Dead on Troll? If that works. It does. Great. So now I can hopefully use this Troll to beat down the Tamiyo. Tamiyo's up to 6. Grafdigger's Cage. Okay, well I've used all my reanimation effects, so what's done is done there. Thoughtseize, okay. One of these is getting taken, the other one's getting cast. And I'm going to start eating instants and sorceries out of my opponent's yard for Murktide prevention. Oculus is not a bad draw. Let's attack Tamiyo. So yeah, I can, if I brainstorm and hit a fetch land, I can cast Oculus. Try it. Hit a wasteland. 2 reanimates I can't cast, so put those away. At the wasteland, cast a Barrowgoyf. All Barrows Goyf. I think I actually, for Murktide prevention, do this now. Get Tamiyo up to 4. Murktide can still be cast, but now it's only going to be a 4/4. Fatal Push, yeah, that's fine. Oh, still a Murktide, okay. That's fine. I am able to beat that with Oculus, I believe. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, cancel. Let's wasteland this. And then I'll Oculus and keep Barrogoyf in my graveyard. Then I'll attack Tameo. Knock out the Tam. Which I can also Ghost Vacuum away. Then I get to Surveil and put something into play as a 2/2. Oh no, I don't. Graph Trigger's Cage prevents that. Nasty. I didn't realize that Manifest enters from library, but it does. Okay. Well, that's a learning experience for me. Let's see here. I think I want to trade these, so I'm going to attempt to. Because if they trade, this frog can start connecting. Frog is in. And that should mean that I have it. GG. Okay, cool. So I got the match 2-0 or 5-1, locked for top 8. I'll see you all for the quarterfinals. Hey, look at that. We're first seed into top 8. Very nice. Looks like we're going to be against Yushi013, who snuck in with a 4-2. Trock is also in there in INF, our last round opponent. Managed to be the top 4-2, so that's good for them as well. S. Rogers, our round 5 opponent who beat us, is also in. So yeah, should be a good one. I'll see you all for the quarters. Okay, so we are in 8th seed, looking at, I think, a pretty reasonable hand between these trolls and animate deads. Not sure what our opponent's on. Could have looked it up. They're on Basic Island Delver. Okay, so they're on Delver. Found an Entomb. So I could Thoughtseize now. And I think I'll just slow that down a little bit. Gonna play it tight. And revealed days now. If they revealed days, do I just do this right now? Just shove Entomb? Yeah, I guess so. Oh my god. Oh, that was brutal. Okay. Oof. Oh wow, that was really bad. I did not expect the stifle. But maybe I should have. Well, that's brutal. Okay. I guess I get to at least discard Atraxa. Yeah, that was a brutal stifle. And they have a days coming. Okay, yeah, looking bad here. Looking real bad. I don't have the life total or time to do multiple Thoughtseizes, so discard one. And I am in big trouble. I'll concede. No, I guess I shouldn't concede. I found a force. I'll just discard the other Thoughtseize. But I'm in trouble. I should not have waited on that fetch land. This is maybe my last turn to find a land. I did in fact find a land. My opponent's going to hit me to 4. which means that I will be able to force, if I draw a land this turn, the next turn will be at 1. So yeah, I'll entomb the Archon, I suppose. Oh no, I should have done Animate Dead because I already have a track set. That was a mistake again. This was another mistake. Let's see if it ends up mattering. It does end up mattering. Try to brainstorm, see if I can really shift the texture of my hand here. This was just big mistakes. Obviously, I can't reanimate because I won't have the life total for it. Yeah, I screwed that up. I got sleepy waiting for the round. Oh, that's a good excuse, but the reality of it, yeah, really just not my best move there. Also, walking into that daze was embarrassing. Or walking into that stifle, I should say. Let's do that. Seems like a good mix of lands and spells for this post-board game where I'm on the play. Okay, on the play for game 2 because I screwed up game 1. Keep it. I'm going to fetch a basic island and ponder immediately. And hopefully find a basic swamp as well, which I did. And I found a second frog. So I can play frog into frog. I'm going to play the Delver, okay. Is there playing a Delver change the way I want to sequence these spells? I think no. Jam frog into the Delver. If this gets dazed, I don't care. Just want to set them back on lands. Got multiple fatal push to be able to answer the threats. And there was no flip. Love to see it. Let's play out the land, play around days. This gets forced. Okay. Under my opponent's upkeep, all fatal push in case they're holding up a spell pierce or something. Guess I can see what they reveal off Delver. Days. Okay, so now I know to play around days. So I have now drawn for turn. And now I can surveil, see if I can hit something better than a frog. I'll put the ponder on top and I'll just animate dead frog. So I've got a frog now. Obviously, I'll need to discard a card to activate it, if you will, like make it start dealing damage to draw cards. See what my opponent's representing here. 2 blue. I don't know. Ponder. Bowmaster Fatal Push, great. I'll attack, I'll discard Fatal Push. Get the damage dealing going. 2. What you got for me? Theft? Okay. Actually fine. I did lose the Fatal Push in this, but I get to recast the frog and I don't have to discard more cards to it. I also have this Brazen Borrower itself answered with my Bowmaster. So they're mono blue Delver. Interesting. Well, I have that answered with this Murktide, or with this Prison Borrower. Petty Theft. Let's attack with Psychic Frog. See if they trade. So at this point, I'll flash in a Bowmaster. If this resolves and deals damage, then I'll discard the other one. Oh no, they have days. I knew about that days. That was dumb. Whoops. I'm just not playing well right now. It's late for me, but I should be playing at a higher level. Okay, well, I do have this Delver answered. Could have had both Delvers answered if I had played a little better. Is that what you're going to do? Okay, now we're talking. Let's go Fatal Push Tameo. Leapfrog the frog. Keep in mind my opponent's last card is Murktide Regent. Okay. So I can kill one Delver. Then kill the other Delver. Okay, Delvers are gone. My opponent can cast a 4/4 Murktide. That's something they want to do. Which it might be. Like it is. And I found a troll, which I will use. Get some surveil action going. Don't need another troll. I'll play out this borrower now before my opponent can draw days or anything. Then I'll just pass the turn. I'm not gonna suicide my team to push damage at this point. I think shutting off cantrips is too valuable. I can also potentially leap the frog and double block the Murktide if I wanted to. I don't need to do that quite yet. Okay. Well, another land I think is better as a discarded card to frog. So I'll just hold off on that one. Borrower coming in. We need to draw something good soon, though. Eventually my opponent will draw out of this. I feel like they're holding a Force of Will. Trade borrowers. Not too long until I can start attacking with this frog. Let's brainstorm. Maybe this gets forced. Looks like it's going to. Yep. Okay. It's fine. I just pass back. But my opponent doesn't draw another Murktide. That'd be the thing that gets me here. Thinking. Maybe they drew a Ponder. Okay. Animate Dead is great. Bit of Troll. See if we get the trigger. We do. It's wonderful news. Okay, Troll is going to turn the tide of battle pretty quickly if it does end up connecting. Okay, more wastelands. Riptide's coming in. Now we're just racing. I'll go to combat, attack. Discard here. See if I'm able to push through 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. Brazen Borrower. There is. Okay. So Brazen Borrower is coming in. Still dealing a good amount of damage. Not that worried about this. I will just cycle the Troll now, though. Keep my lands up. Okay. 9, draw a card, drew Wasteland. Let's reanimate this Psychic Frog. And this has potential to be a 3/4. So it could block and eat the Brazen Borrower. I will bite. Yeah, okay. Well. See. I mean, gotta try, right? You reanimate, which is probably good. If nothing else, it can just make a blocker for Murktide. One, two, three. They're gonna kill this somehow. So this means. Yeah. Okay. It drew reanimate as well, so reanimate the frog. If that resolves, then I'll attempt to reanimate my own borrower so that if they borrow it, I can bounce the Murktide. Stay for days. And then let's put Brazen Borrower into play. Okay. Now we have a lot of insulation. They cantrip, I will do a lot of damage to them. Cool. Okay, so on the draw, I think I want my forces back because of the stifles. I can cut Dazes and Thoughtseize. Maybe I want Atraxa over Archon because of Stifle. Or like this 7/7 body, I think is better than the 6/6 if both triggers get stifled, like in the face of Murktides and stuff. No, this just gets bounced. I don't know which one's better against my opponent. Archon answers Murktides, the other stuff doesn't. Sir. Okay, I'm gonna try Archon. Well, this hand is not a keeper. This hand is probably a keeper. I think I have to get rid of the Oculus as much as it pains me, just because I think it's a little bit slow in the hand. I want to draw into it later. I think this is the kind of hand where I have to walk. I was going to say if they lead on a Delver, I have to walk into Daze the whole time. Otherwise, I'm going to start on an Undercity Sewers. Thinking hard on this Ponder, did not shuffle. Okay, I drew a basic island also. It's nice to have. I don't need this land. I have enough land now. Okay, they did draw Wasteland. And wasted. I'm going to Ponder. Entomb, Force. Yeah, this is great. So Force doesn't quite work because I don't have any blue cards, but the other stuff is good. So I can basically next turn hold up Entomb or Bowmasters. Don't mind if I do. I know there's a Force on top of my library, so I'm getting wasted. I'm probably going to go with the Entomb. If they fire off a cantrip, I might go for the Brainstorm play. Or the... No, I'll let it resolve. Not going to snap off into Daze. I can play around Daze because I already played a land this turn. So I can Entomb around Daze and animate dead around Daze. So let's Entomb the Archon. And then animate dead the Archon. Then if this gets countered, we deal. Did in fact get forced. It's fine. I'm going to just let that sit for another turn. And then try to brainstorm on my next turn into another reanimation effect. Murktide. Probably Murktide. Hearse, huh? Got license for that hearse? That's okay. Delver, okay. I can at least Bowmaster the Delver. And I found a Force of Will. So Delver's gone. I can force a Murktide around a Daze. Fatal Push smaller stuff. Obviously this hearse is annoying, but worse things have happened. Another land for my opponent. Hopefully this Bowmaster is constricting them. Go for the Throat's really clean. Great answer to Murktide. Attack with the Bowmasters. What's happening? Petty Theft. Yep. I'm going to jam this Baragoyf potentially into a Daze. There's the days. I fight over it now. Because I have this go for the throat, the answer is yes. Hopefully it's not 2 days. It's not 2 days. Great. Okay. Opponent is shrinking the yard. As they're wont to do. Another land for our opponent. They may be planning to... I'm just going to attack with both. Tap target creature, put a stun counter on it. Flash Vigilance. Okay. No attacks because they can just animate the hearse. I guess I'll do this now. They can't activate the hearse to attack on their turn. Okay. Yep, shrinking the Goyf. Mono Blue Delver. Doing Mono Blue Delver things. This hearse is making my Oculus look really bad. Prison Borrower coming in. Does that mean that hearse is going live? If it's crewing up, it's attacking. Hate to see it. Okay. Smelled weakness. Let's go for the throat on the borrower. And then attack. Obviously, this is not ideal, but I will try my best. This Barrogoyf might help a lot. Second hearse, that's a little rough. This is not too rough. This Barrogoyf connects Oculus can do a lot of good stuff. So let's attack. Maybe just the Barrogoyf. I don't want to lock this Bowmaster into something. Turn target creature I don't control. Spell is kicked, put it. So just a bounce spell. We have bounced. Barrogoyf recast. Okay. Yeah, so potentially missing out on damage there with the Bowmaster, but I'm just trying not to walk into a giant blowout trap. One. What you got? Dismember. Okay. A little rough. I'm going to ponder, see what I can find. Reanimate. Doesn't really cut it right now. These hearses. think I just shuffle. Okay. Opponent's playing around my Oculus. I think we actually played earlier today. I was testing this deck out, so they kind of know what to expect here, which is not what I want. Let's see, can I do... animate, or I'm just entombing something, I guess, like another Oculus to get it out of my deck. Yeah, I guess so. I shouldn't have done that there, I don't think. But I don't quite know how I'm going to get out of this without getting lucky. These hearses are doing oh so much to me. Oculus is not looking good. Okay, let's sewers. Put that on top. I'm going to go... Wasteland here. It's very obviously a play to get my Oculus live. Yeah, they're seeing right through it. I just had to try. Not gonna work. At least I have a frog on top. Hopefully my opponent's just stuck on cantrips in their hand and they don't want to use them. Wasteland. Yeah, okay. I can at least play a frog. I'm not very happy with how I played this game. If I win, it is via the power of this deck as opposed to great decisions I have made. Yeah, my yard is looking embarrassingly small for this Oculus to ever resolve. It's a cool card, cool concept. It's just not quite working out. My opponent's sitting on like triple brainstorm. Okay, they're passing. They're playing a land. Okay, more Bowmasters. That's nice. Stifle the draw spell. I'm going to do this now while my opponent can't hardcast a force. Yeah, so now they can't brainstorm, it'll take 6. But I do not draw a card with Frog. Okay. Game is really going to the skin of my teeth here. Pretty tense. The opponent's playing way better than me, but they're also playing Mono Blue Delver, and I'm playing one of the best decks, if not the best deck in the format. Okay, They thought for a long while and then just passed. Could be posturing. If I don't play my land here, I can discard and waste myself to give frog flying. So I'm just going to attack with the team. And waste my opponent's land. See if they fetch. Let it go. Okay. And I got another frog. Very fortunate. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a lethal attacker. Yeah, okay. Yep. Okay. What do we got? Oh, that's not going to work. Okay. Cool. We did it. We snuck this match out to advance to the semis. I'll see you all in a sec. Also, since we've played against our 3 opponents, we know what they're on. Tom Jabarte is on, sorry, the same deck as I am. S. Rogers 90 is on Eldrazi, and INF is on Blue Black Tempo. Sorry for the coughing, I'm a little bit sick, just getting over a cold and have a lingering cough. Okay, we're back against S. Rogers 90. We're on the draw again as first seed. That's kind of what we want to do. Just kidding. It's not what we want to do, but it's what we will do. This hand, I think, is a pretty easy keep. It's because I've got the Entomb. So I can do the unfair angle. And it's opening on Devourer of Destiny. Going to devour some Destiny. Okay, so they left 2 chalices out in the sideboard, or in the exile, as well as a Kozilek's Command. So maybe they really needed the land. That's potentially what I see from that. I think I'm still going to Entomb this turn, in case there's a chalice or something coming down. And then I'll Thoughtseize or Frog next turn. Okay, an Ancient Tomb has entered the building. It that heralds the end is coming in. I think I just Entomb now. I'm gonna get the Archon, Cruelty, Relatoire. This does feel like a Kozilek's Command though. Maybe this is a mistake, but I think I want to use my mana. Let's get the Archon in there. Okay, well, do I just let myself get got by a Kozilek's Command? Or do I take a turn off? I think I just jam it. No fear. Also makes my opponent use the exile graveyard mode of Kozilek's Command, which is the worst one. Maybe this is Copium. Because this was a mistake to do. I don't know. But it's not exactly what I want out of all this. They're absolutely casting it though. This is not going to work out in my favor. They're just figuring out whether they want to do like a make Scions or scry 2 and draw a card. Okay, went with making a Scion and playing around Deus. Oh, that didn't quite work. Yeah, I'm sorry that didn't work out. Yeah, it just, the targeting didn't work the way they wanted there. It's like a misclick, which sucks. Yeah, I think at this point, though, their plan is to devour Destiny this thing, which they will be able to do, probably. So Blaststone is gone. Yeah, Devour's probably coming in because they kept 5 mana. They could have also kept the Herald for that. Hard to say. Either way, I shouldn't really have this Archon, but I think they're about to exile it anyway. No, 6 mana. They're 1 short. Okay, new Herald coming in. And I will start with an attack. And I'll Thought Seize the other card because I think they're going to save this Devourer. So by doing this, they might discard a land and then save the Devourer, and then I can Thought Seize the Devourer. Yeah. Well, they discarded Chalice. Same general thought, though. So I can then Thought Seize the Devourer of Destiny. And cool, got that game. Although I didn't really get it in the cleanest way. However, sometimes you need to get lucky in order to win. My opponent did have ley lines last time around. I'm going to get rid of the dazes on the draw. They've been playing around daze a lot anyway. Given those, maybe I cut an Entomb and a Reanimate and the Atraxa. Keep the forces. Baraglyphs are probably worth it. Let's see here. I can probably cut down to 2 Reanimates, 2 Animate Deads as well. Maybe I cut, no, keep the Fatal Push. Maybe I cut that and I keep the Animate Deads in general because they play around Chalice better. Okay, this hand is solid. It might be the case where a ley line isn't the biggest deal because I'm able to leverage the frogs. Okay, my opponent has kept a hand without Leyline of the Void. Wonder what that means. So instead of exposing something to a wasteland, I'm playing the Pluto Delta so I can be a little bit more protected here. Probably going to go for the Undercity Sewers at end of turn. 2 mana. Chalice of the Void. Chalice of the Void, okay. Let's Undercity some sewers. I don't think I need the island right now. Drew another 1-drop I can't cast. But maybe next turn I can just pitch Fatal Push, Archon of Cruelty, and something else, and then cast an Oculus. I need Oculus to be good like once in this video, right? Well, that's not great for me. One probably takes the Oculus. I know I would. Maybe they take the other frog, but they probably take Oculus. I'm giving them the chance to take Archon as well, I guess. It's because I really want to cast the Oculus. And so I'm kind of trying to give them the choice to take other things, but yeah, they took frog. Okay. Drew a borrower. That's nice. Let's go 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to pitch the borrower, I think. Get this Oculus in there. Send it. I'll attack with the frog. Okay. We've drawn a card. It's a ponder. I can manifest. Manifest dread. And it's another Oculus. Nice. Okay. Cool. Oculus is finally doing something. Granted, I can't cast this or can't resolve this ponder into the chalice, but you know, in theory, I have a ponder. I have a card in hand. Piece of cardboard. Digital cardboard. See if opponent decides to attack here. Nope, they're just going for the wasteland route. This flies, so I can attack. Also attack for 10. 15 even. I draw land. Did not draw land. Okay. So I'll discard these cards. I'll give frog flying. Attack with both these. If I draw a land, I can play the land and flip Oculus. Did not draw land. But I can still maybe manifest something. Manifest some dread. Let's manifest dread with a go for the throat. Seems more dreadful. Cool, we got it. On to the finals. Sorry about the misclick. Okay, for the finals, we're either going to play against Froginator or Blue Black Tempo, both of who we've played and beaten. Let's do it. So I've got good news and bad news. The good news is that my opponent is playing Vintage also, and basically asked if I'd be okay splitting the finals because he doesn't want to double queue it. And I respect that. So here I am, the winner, technically, of the challenge. We split the finals, but yeah, deck was great. Oculus, not so much. I think first things first, I'd make that swap. But anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this run, and I'll see you all next week after the ban announcement. Bye-bye.